Listen, we are the people of the book. We are the Israelites of this Bible.
Dear Mr. African American around the world, this for the so-called black man. Hey, look, let me holler at you one time, pose a few questions, put something on your mind. Dig though, what's your nationality? Huh? Dig. Where your people from? Huh? Look, tell me, where your land at? Do you know, or do you go by what they telling us? For the longest we've been lied to. Instead of finding truth, it's our idols we confide to. Horoscopes and palm readers, talking to the psychics who conjure up evil spirits to tell you what you're supposed to do. So dear, what's your nationality? Huh? Where your people from? Black man, tell me, where your land at? Do you know, or do you go by what they telling us? What's your nationality? Huh? Where your people from? Tell me, where your land at? Do you know, or do you go by what they telling us? You ain't African, you Israel. Wake up, don't people. Let them tell you nothing different. You was born spiritual, born into a covenant. Yeah, you got inheritance. Yes, you got a land. It's Jerusalem. They knowing this, so they keep it hidden from you. But our God is showing this. Israel's the only people that he know. He told us this. The Bible is your history, black man. Whether you Mexican, American, or German, Israelite is your bloodline of Abraham's seed. From the loins of Jacob, the Holy Spirit is your breed. Yes. You chosen to go feed the rest of the sons of Adam. Yes. It's holy bread of life indeed. I know it's hard to fathom, but it's true. Just go and read. Forget what you've been taught by these blind leaders who let greed got their thoughts. It's all about the money. Ain't no truth in they walk. All they teach is deception. Ain't no light when they talk. So dig. What's your nationality? Huh? Where your people from? Black man, tell me, where your land at? Do you know, or do you go by what they telling us? What's your nationality? Huh? Where your people from? Tell me, where your land at? Do you know, or do you go by what they telling us?
And we entered into a covenant with the God of this world. And we were named after the God of this world. That's why we call Israelites. He changed our forefather's name, Jacob, from Jacob to Israel. And thus 12 boys were born unto Jacob, one to Israel. Thus we are called the Israelites.
All right, Shalom, family. I've been having to go back to classes and stuff. That's going all right. I'm supposed to start another. I like to testify because we overcome by testimony. Laid off and stuff. Most High, everything still kept rolling. But anyway, while I was taking class, one day I was headed home for lunch from school, from class, and I saw some sisters standing out there. They were Jehovah's Witnesses. All of them black. I went over, so I don't even think I might have still went home. I went over there and talked to them. And I was telling them about Luke 21:24. I didn't intend on going here, but I've been meaning to talk about this for quite some time, so it's permeating through my soul. And it's relevant and it's true. Okay, they try to hit me with that color don't matter. They try to hit me with that, y'all. I didn't take offense to it because we pray for a lack of knowledge, and these heathens done did all kind of stuff to brainwash us and manipulate us. All right, but look, and I quoted this right here, and I gave them the book. They held the Bible right there. I gave Luke chapter 21, verse 24. All right, look. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. It ain't enough Europeans. Their genetics ain't strong enough to go captive into all nations. Their fear is genetic annihilation. These are facts. If I talk with passion, that's because I'm passionate. This is who I am. All right? But yeah, it ain't they DNA won't allow them to survive captivity after captivity after captivity after captivity. Their genetics won't allow them. So let's just get over the lies, okay? Led away captive into all nations. We everywhere. And I said, who is this people if it ain't us? I said, who is it? Before you can dismiss it and say this ain't us, then who is it? See, you got to bring out the big guns when you're dealing with these people, with our people. You got to bring out the big guns. They don't need a tiptoeing. This is a war zone. Would you tiptoe through a war zone? The Most High chose us to be his soldiers and leaders. It's okay to believe the white people are the leaders. But when you prove that something is amiss, all of a sudden color don't matter. Okay. She didn't say nothing. She was kind of receptive. You know, matter of fact, 2 other women were receptive. And then there was another one started talking about it don't matter. I said, well, okay. All right. But we got to be led into all truth. We got to be led into all truth. So the truth matters. It wasn't no comeback after that, y'all. Okay? Yahuwah is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So, right back to Luke 21:24. If it ain't us, then who is it? The Most High is not the author of confusion. Slavery, when you, let me just do an experiment. See who pops up when you type in slavery. Let's see who pops up. Look. That's captivity. Okay? But anyway, I didn't intend to go this way, but hey, here go another verse in Deuteronomy. You shall betroth a wife, even though they weren't married, and another man shall sleep with her. Your genetics got to be strong to survive rapes. Okay? Your genetics ain't even strong enough to survive the heat. See, if you was over there in Egypt, Africa, Pharaoh wouldn't have had to worry about throwing Moses into the Nile River. All he would have had to do was take the Hebrews, the white Hebrews, out in the sun and let the sun kill them with cancer. Okay, like I said, when dealing with our people, you got to bring out the big guns. All right? Now, but anyway, they gave me this book. I took the book. Why is all these books? You don't see ourselves in it. Let me blow myself up. Hold on. Let me see. You don't see ourselves in the book. You understand? It's a card somewhere. Let me see. Oh yeah, they invited me to their service. Hadn't went yet because I already know what I'm gonna do. And then I got to take care of my wife, and I got to take care of this house first. Before I go to putting out videos, I got to make sure the house is secure. That's the Bible. Paul said if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. Tell that to Pastor Popechow. If a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. That's what Paul said, right? They love quoting Paul. Paul said if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. These pastors is working out and getting their hands all in the poor people's pocketbook. But look, these people are supposed to be spewing, they're supposed to be telling the truth. Okay? And what really makes when you got our people perpetrating these lies, see, then it becomes a problem. This is their book. I don't care if you go to the Seventh-day Adventist, you go to the Baptist, you go to the Pentecostal, you go to the Coptic. It don't matter. They got the same image. So how is all these denominations that can't agree on doctrines, all of them can agree on the image of the beast? Y'all don't find that suspicious. They can't agree on nothing else, but they all can agree on the image of the beast. Let me get into my photo album. Let me see here. Let me get in here my photo album. Let me see which one. All right, let me start here. I got some. It's all over the place, y'all. It's all over the place. Okay. If I had took time and put it in order, this video probably wouldn't have got done today. I'm just being honest. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Okay. Okay, I'm just keeping it real, y'all. All right, hold on. All right. This is an old video, probably a couple years ago.
Exodus 4:6. Moses' hand was turned white. He stuck his hand in his bosom and it was turned white. If his hand was already white, what's the point? All right. Read the book of Leviticus. Yellow hair, as they call blonde hair, is leper's hair. Numbers 12:10. Miriam was turned white for punishment. If she was already white, what's the point? She was turned white. She's in a hot environment. And you know what happened to white skin in a hot climate. So they changed the word in the 1500s from clean leprosy. In the Bible, you had unclean and clean to vitiligo. Unclean leprosy, where you had to be quarantined.
Let me show these. Let me show these blisters. Let me show these blisters.
Clean and clean to
where in the Bible did the Most High say that the Israelite had blisters, that they had sunburn, that the sun was gonna kill them?
Unclean leprosy, where you had to be quarantined. Clean leprosy, you was all right.
Let me see what them blisters are. There you go. There you go. That tells you something happened in the natural order. When I mean natural, the order that the Most High created everything. Something happened. Okay? Let me move on. This is in response to all these people that think, I never owned no slave, but you benefiting from the wealth of your ancestors. And on top of that, you are complicit and you are okay with our death and demise out here in the streets. Where is the laws? Where is the black our anti-hate hate bill? What are that for us? The hate crime bill for us. You don't really enforce it. This is for you. This is for you heathens out here that think you ain't going into captivity. Let me see. Is it? That's just a thing I put together. There you go. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. There's only one group of people that's running the world, as the Bible says in the book of Ezra, that they're gonna rule with much wicked oppression. The Ezra that they took out, I think it's the fourth Ezra. In some Bible, it would be the second Ezra. They're gonna rule with much wicked oppression. Everywhere these people go, is some death, hell, and destruction that follows. Everywhere. They talking about some weapons of mass destruction. Okay, there was no weapons. Nobody held accountable. You follow me? Let me see. Let me close that one out. Here go another one for you devils. The Most High ain't clearing the guilty. By no means clearing the guilty. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children. I never owned no slaves. And the children's children to the third and fourth generation. Now, if it was good enough for us, it's good enough for y'all. So you said, what does this verse do? It tells you that the Most High will get your children and your children's children and make them pay for what we do. So I advise us to start teaching our children. Stop holding up for wickedness. If you really love your children, you will warn them of the Most High. Okay? See, he's not clearing the guilty. The guilty has a bloodline. Your first clue should be Adam. We wasn't in the garden when Adam ate. We didn't agree to a contract of death. But yet here we are. So y'all ain't safe hiding behind that lie, talking about I never owned slaves. You ain't safe. Y'all are the same people. Let me show y'all some stuff I just learned. And if y'all haven't seen this, let me see if Tubi. If y'all haven't seen this Reclaiming the Throne, how many of y'all seen episode? How many of y'all watched all of Reclaiming the Throne? Let me get some ones in the chat if you watched all of Reclaiming the Throne. I watched it again and saw some stuff. I don't know how I missed it. But look at these. Y'all watched all of it? Okay, great. I'm thinking about showing a little bit. Look at this. These devils got our bones. They done made a church out of our bones. But yet somehow our people want to propagate these lies. See, we perish for a lack of knowledge. I don't care if it's Jehovah's Witness. I don't care whatever it is. Your mother is the harlot church. These are our bones. This is a crime scene right here. That's what it is. Darn crime scene. But they got the world fooled. We the biggest murderers on the earth. Let me see, can I pull that up? Let me see. I think I got that Tubi app on my, on my computer. I think I got it on my computer. Let me see. Yeah. But anyway, I was looking at it yesterday. Y'all go over there and check it out. It's on Tubi. I had to log in. I don't want to log in online. Not for y'all, but it'd be some doggone white supremacist devils or the feds or somebody trying to log in and mess up my stuff. All right. It's a minute. I'll show this.
What is the root issue for that hatred towards our black brothers and sisters? The Lord woke me up kind of in the middle of the night, and he answered that question. And the answer was, because of my chosen people.
In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to Jerusalem with great slaughter. Many outrages and atrocities were committed against the remainder of the people. It has been estimated that over 1 million Hebrews fled into the interiors of Africa from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Hebrew slaves.
To reconnect to your history, you need to do three things. One, you need to redefine who the children of Judah are according to the old references. Not from the 1900s and newer, because those books tend to have a totally, completely different history in those books. So you have to ask yourself, how did we lose this in history? How did you lose 400,000 people in history? And the reason why I say how did you lose 400,000 people in history is not in the books.
Many people in today's time, many Israelites who don't know their heritage or who they are looking back.
Now it is up to us to have eyes to see and ears to hear.
Now streaming on Fearless. Start your free trial today.
Okay, I didn't know about Fearless. All right, let me get back to my photo album. But yeah, they got our bones. They built churches on top of our bones, family. See, when you hear our enemies talking about that they don't owe nothing, you ain't gotta argue with them. Just put the truth right there. Put the truth right there. You ain't gotta argue with them. See, you ain't gotta argue with them. Now, what communions does light have with darkness? Pick one. At least when I was out here doing wickedness, I picked one. Maybe that's why the Most High didn't kill me. Because he know all things. Sooner or later, I'm going to come to my senses. See, pick one. What you ain't going to do is misrepresent the Most High and lie. That's what you ain't going to do, because we going to see to it. We have been provoked to jealousy, as the word said. Whatever lie we see, we going to correct these lies out here. That ain't it. Y'all lying on us. You're lying on the Most High. You're lying on our heritage. And thereby you are in violation. So expect hostile retaliation, whatever it may be. So we supposed to sit back and be cool. Oh, you gonna stir up these white folks? Stir them up how? What y'all stir them up? What, how? How much worse can it get? Huh? The only reason why we suffer like this is in the. Let me show y'all this. Deuteronomy 28, where it's at. Where it's at? Let me see here. (28:37), 28:36. Look right here. Your carcass shall be food for every bird of the heavens and the beast of the earth. And there will be no one to frighten them away. See that? Wasn't nobody there to frighten them away. Look at that. Can't even get a decent burial. These darn Europeans. Let me see, can I find it right quick? See, can I find it? Oh, I've been putting notes back, but like I said, I got to take care of my business first. Look at this mess. Look at this mess, but y'all worried about stirring up Satan. Satan already stirred up. Look. Y'all worried about stirring up Satan. You Negro, just get away from me. That's all. That's the best thing to do. Get away from me. All right. There you go. There you go, right there. I ain't worried about them. That's what devils do. But anyway, let me go. That's just some of the stuff I got. Let me get on. I ain't even got into my notes yet. Hold on. I ain't even got into my stuff. This stuff right here. Look. This is what devil call art, y'all. This is what devil. It was another thing over there where the Africans, where the people in Africa was trying to get their bones back. Look, don't y'all never let them shame y'all into nothing. Y'all drop. This is what you do. Look, they made a crown out of bones. Don't never let them shame y'all into nothing. These people ain't got no rule. Best thing for them to do is sit down somewhere and get in a corner somewhere and stay out of our way. That's the best thing for them, because I ain't worried about them. If that's what you do, fine. Yeah, keep that over there. When you go to mess with the Most High stuff, I got to come holler at you. You go to mess with our people, we gonna holler at you. We gonna holler at you. Look. See, this is what you worshiping when you worshiping white Jesus. This is what you worship. You worshiping death. How am I worshiping death? Well, okay then. How come black folks is still getting killed out here worshiping white Jesus? Huh? Cry loud. I'm adding a little of the prophet Elijah's satire. Cry loud to your God. He is a God. Perhaps he's asleep. Perhaps white Jesus is asleep. Maybe you need to cry a little louder. Maybe some more of your blood needs to be shed so white Jesus can answer you, prophets of Baal. Huh? Cry loud. This is for you Negroes out here that's hell bent on worshiping white Jesus. Maybe enough of us ain't died. Maybe he waiting on, maybe he waiting on a few more of us to die. The Messiah of the Bible died for his nation. The white Messiah, under him, we died for their nation. You see what it is? Yeah, Caesarea boys here on permanent vacation. I can't wait till the Most High start dealing on them. Look at this mess. Look at this mess. This is a darn crime scene. But they got the world thinking that they are the beacons of morality. Look at this mess. This ain't the only one, y'all. This ain't the only one. They got more. Let me see, can I log in? Let me be honest. Let me see, can I log out right? I'm going to log in. I'm going to unshare my screen. See, can I log in and show y'all that video? Let me see. Let me quit sharing it. I'm going to show it to you. It's about 10 minutes. Let me see, can I log in right quick? Can I do it? I might can send it to my phone. Y'all, let me play a little something for y'all right quick while I'm getting my stuff together. Not too long. Not too long.
Señorita, come on. Señor, come on. Vámonos a la deriva, deriva,
Make way for the blues, make way. The royal blues coming through today. Sons of the week, both of them. Call your sofa, call your king, be ready and Make way for the blues, make way. The royal blues coming through today. Sons of the week, both of them. Call your sofa, call your king, be ready and
Let the Bible say what this wicked world decrees of people trodden down, who they always want to keep beneath. But the time has come for all those in the world to see the chains being broken. Spirit, mind, soul set free. A Negro. I said, como esta tu my Negroes. Praise the Most High, cause we's about to go. Once they found out more about these Negroes, said a Negro. I said, como esta tu my Negroes. Praise the Most High, cause we's about to go. Once they found out more about these Negroes. In 1492, Ferdinand and Isabella issued an edict to expel the Jews. They were banished from Portugal, Spain, and for their faith they were treated inhumane. This kicked off the Atlantic slave trade. Our history they try to erase. This fulfill Deuteronomy 28. Every single curse is black Hebrews living every day. We are hidden Hebrews and every nation. We are hidden Hebrews and every nation. Let the Bible see what this wicked world decrees of people trodden down, who they always want to keep beneath. But the time has come for all those in the world to see the chains being broken. Spirit, mind, soul set free. A Negro. I said, como esta tu my Negroes. Praise the Most High, cause we's about to go. Once they found out more about these Negroes, said a Negro. I said, como esta tu my Negroes. Praise the Most High, cause we's about to go. Once they found out more about these Negroes.
I don't know what happened. Hold on. I was trying to airplay it on my MacBook. I'm gonna have to cue it up. I might have to do another short video. Let me see here. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it around there some kind of way. But anyway, let me move on to my lesson. All right. Without further ado, but yeah, this ain't the only one that they got. See, when I see stuff like this, I start seeing Revelation, where the dragon is chasing the daughter, the nation of Israel, spewing water out of the mouth like a flood, trying to wipe out the nation of Israel. See, I'm gonna tell you something else. Okay. Why don't the Ish people, if this is the Ish people, then they be all over this. This is how you know these Jews are black folks. They be all over it. You ain't got to deal with 6 million. This is looking more like 6 billion. Let me go back to let me go back to my photo album. Let me get back to knock that out the way. Let me get that out the way first. I don't know how I got in there. Hold on. Let me send it again. Let me send it to myself again. They be all over it. You right. I'll send it to myself again and then hold on, fam. This is what I'm, hold on, y'all bear with me. Let me unshare my screen again. Let me unshare my screen. Let me try to log in again. Let me try it again. He cut it off, and they got the right to. I just pray these brothers understand. I'm queuing it up now. I just want y'all to see this thing. Trying to get to episode 3. It's in episode 3. Okay. Now, I don't know if they cut it off or not.
Women were out.
I don't know if they're going to cut it out or not. So, if they do, they just cut it out. But I just showed you where to go. So, I'm just going to show 10 minutes of it. I'm not going to show the whole thing because I don't feel like that's right. But our people need to know this stuff. Okay? All right, here we go, fam.
Raged, and virgins were violated. Such were the horrors committed in the capital of Portugal in that day. 12 centuries of Jewish persecution, a brief outline of the sufferings of the Hebrew race in Christian lands, by Gustav Perelson, 1898. So in the massacre of 1506 in Portugal, according to the author, they slew and mangled their victims while casting many still alive into the fire. Negroes. The writer even calls this quote the massacre and butchery of the new Christians. Remember, it was the black Portuguese Jews who were converted to be new Christians. So what was the name of this particular massacre? Vitimus do Massacre Judaico in 1506 in Rossio Square, right outside the Church of St. Dominic, as the writer confirms. The mob goaded into a roaring frenzy, headed by John Moco and Freddy Bernardo, both monks of the Order of St. Dominic, who fiercely incited the rabble of at least 10,000 degraded and cruel ruffians to the most disgraceful deeds.
My name's Ian. I'm a musician, a singer, a content creator, and I'm also a
Hold
dasher.
on, y'all.
Dashing gives me the freedom
They gotta
and
get their stuff
flexibility I
in.
need to earn money while still pursuing my dream
Y'all bear
of being a
with me.
professional musician.
Let them get their issue in. Let them get their issue in. All right. I'm getting my stuff together. There it is right there. That's, watch all of it. These brothers putting in some work. All right. I'm putting these pictures back up. I don't know how to find them on my computer. So I'm setting them back up. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
To this day, the estimate
It's a tourist attraction, y'all.
as the writer confirmed.
Now, keep in mind, these folks, when they got ready to lynch and kill one of us, you get 15 or you get like football numbers, thousands, 15, 20,000. Waiting like it's a great event. But we trying to get in their good graces.
The writer even calls this quote a massacre and butchery of the new Christians. Remember, it was the Black Portuguese Jews who were converted to be new Christians. So what was the name of this particular massacre? Vitimus do Massacre Judaico.
You can look this up. I looked it up. See, I be looking up stuff. I don't care if you got a good reputation of putting out good stuff. I go double check. So anything we put out, y'all go back and check it. I looked this stuff up. Why ain't the Ish people talking about these Jews getting slaughtered, huh? If it's them.
1506 at Rossio Square, right outside the Church of St. Dominic, as the writer confirms. The mob goaded into a roaring frenzy, headed by John Moko and Freddy Bernardo, both monks of the Order of St. Dominic, who fiercely incited the rabble of at least 10,000 degraded and cruel ruffians to the most disgraceful deeds. There are walking tours of this place in Libsyn to this day. The estimate is that nearly 4,000 people were executed that day. This is the same location where slaves gathered for different forms of spiritual assistance and brotherhood during the start of the slave trade in the 15th century. Then there are unknown, unnamed massacres and mass graves. For instance, in the March of 2019, an interesting discovery was found in Lagos, Portugal, in a rubbish dump. A mass grave of more than 150 Africans found with their hands bound and tied behind their backs. These mass graves were created between the 15th to the 17th century, the same time period of the Inquisitions and the Auto da Fés, aka persecution of the Negro Jews of Portugal. Even more interesting is the state that these bodies were found in, hands tied behind their back. So let's see if we can connect the dots in the 15th to the 17th century.
That's what I was thinking also when I saw it again yesterday. The dry bones. Don't nobody want us to live. Everybody can get reparations but the Negro. They got an open darn checkbook for the Ukrainians. They bringing the doggone Afghans over here, classifying them as white, giving them an economic flow. Next thing you know, they got stores in our neighborhoods. Everybody gets to live, but the real biblical Israelites. See that? Illegal immigrants broke the law to get here, got a place to stay. They're getting economic flows to keep them here. Even criminals. When I mean criminals, people that broke the law to get here, that's a crime. You are stealing money and tax dollars from us because we are forced to take care of you. You ain't bringing nothing here when you come. You bringing empty pockets, but yet you getting food, shelter, job, and a place to stay. Everybody gets to live.
Century. It is well-established history that in France alone, thousands of Jews were burned at the stake. On one occasion, 160 men and women and children were bound hand and foot and thrown into a ditch. Wood was piled on them and the torch applied, while numbers of the priests stood by with uplifted hands, calling on their Savior to witness the suffering of the unbelieving Jews. Whole families were burned in this funeral for the reason that these pious Christians could not see them separated. Commentaries on Christian and Hebrew mythologies by Ladd Parrish.
That's a book you can look up. That's a book. They dropping historical breadcrumbs and receipts. It's a book. So why the Most High allowed this? This is gonna be judged, y'all. The more of us get to crying out and screaming and hollering foul and bloody murder, this is gonna be judged. That's why they want you to shut up. They know what the Bible says.
Then there's the unnamed massacres of Macombo, which were so many that the Negroes that were killed there were left for dead in the streets, to the point that King Emmanuel said, they are not buried as well as they should be. They are thrown on the ground in such a manner that they are discovered and eaten by dogs. So a neighborhood that was once known as a refuge for Negroes fleeing persecution became a house of horrors. Emmanuel in 1515, less than 10 years after Vitamis II massacre, Judaico, in Rosio Square, which is only 1.5 miles from Macombo, ordered a massive grave site known as Pocos dos Negros, the Blacks Pit, to be built there. And where was it built?
Ain't no way to get around that Negro. See that? Ain't no way.
On the corner of Jude Street, Travessa do Judeu. One more interesting phenomenon that was birthed during this period of mass executions and unmarked graves of the Black Yahudim are the Gothic bone churches that began to spring up. Yes, I said bone churches. Churches that was built with the bones and skeletons of the dead built into the walls of the cathedrals. One such instance is Capela dos Ossos, the Chapel of Bones, in Évora, Portugal, built between 1460 and 1510 during the time of Vitamis II massacre Judaico, which occurred in 1506. The chapel sits in the Church of St. Francis and was built from bones from Franciscan monks. According to the story, the monks built the chapel out of bones to solve the problem of cemeteries taking up space in Évora.
Now, yeah, let me hold on. Now, they had a problem with dead bodies. In their mind, let's not stop killing. Let's just start building churches. This is the mind of a devil. See, these are the same people that glorify Jeffrey Dahmer. The same people that romanticize Hannibal eating up people, Lecter. The same people that puts up statues of mass murderer and genocide of our people. The same people. But y'all want to reason and tiptoe and patty cake when we're in a war zone. Y'all go ahead with that.
Remember, having a lack of space to bury dead bodies was the same problem that occurred in Macombo because of the auto da phase, to the point that King Emmanuel had to commission Pocos dos Negros, the Negroes Pit. See, there's another curious element to the auto da phase that might shed some light on why a person might hang something from a condemned dead person's body in a church as a memento. This habit of the penitent and sackcloth of condemned heretics is to be hung up in the church of that parish where they dwell, that these sort of ensigns may be a monument to keep the everlasting remembrance of their piety. For the name of the heretics and the reasons of their condemnation are to be inscribed and renewed of them. The History of the Inquisition by Lembrock Philippus, 1633-1712. So during the Auto de Fe, or Acts of Faith, the clothes of the convicted dead were hung up in the churches on display as a memorial of their execution and condemnation. One example of the hanging of dead victims' clothing and the curation of the bones of the Negroes during the Auto de Fe takes us all the way to Rwanda, where in 1994, the genocide of more than 800,000 Hutus and Tutsis took place. One of the lesser known facts about the genocide is the role that the Catholic Church played. In an article by The Guardian labeled Rwanda Genocide, Catholic Church sorry for the roles of priests and
y'all can look this article up too. I looked it up
nuns and
this
killings. The author wrote.
Y'all see that article up there? That's how you verify what he's talking about. Anybody can put a picture up there and put a title up there and forward something. But if you're telling the truth, you shouldn't mind somebody double checking, because we are agents of truth.
The Catholic Church in Rwanda apologized on Sunday for the church's role in the 1994 genocide, saying it regret.
You can keep your darn stale apology until you start crucifying white Jesus and start crucifying the doggone Klan and start recompensing for your wrongdoing. You can keep your stinking apology. We don't want it.
The actions of those who participated in the massacres. We apologize for all the wrongs the church committed. We apologize on behalf of all Christians.
Now, I'm going to tell y'all how wicked this is. Now, Judgment Day. You know, when everybody go before the Most High and books is open. Everything you done has been documented. Books is being open. And you're going to have a long list of good and bad deeds. Let's just say you got a long list of bad deeds. Okay. I said, I'm sorry, Most High. Yeah, I'm sorry. Is that going to be enough? Is that going to, okay, in today's judicial system, is it enough for the murderer to apologize to the victim's family? Is that enough? Retribution must be paid. It will be paid. So you heathens, you can keep on lying to yourself. We sitting back. We getting out the Most High way. We getting away from y'all devils and you enemy sympathizers. We sitting back over here eating popcorn. We watching it go down. Seeing if it's anywhere we can light a fire so Babylon can burn a little bit faster. See if any kind of fuel we can assist in helping to burn a Babylon. That's what we doing. I got some more fuel for y'all. Here you go right here. Let's hit this play button.
For all forms of wrongs were committed. The statement acknowledged that the church members planned, aided, and carried out the genocide.
These are war crimes. Pastor Richardson is right. Transatlantic slave war, which is backed up in the Bible, where nation would rise against nation. That go your race war. These are war crimes. Okay, where is the United Nothing calling this out? The United Nothing that's ran by the same people that's running the banks, same people running the movie industry, same people that's running all of the stuff. Where is they calling this out? Look, this is premeditation. The statement acknowledged that the church members planned, aided, carried out genocide. And this is recent. Them churches with the bones go way back. See, that's why Europe had the Dark Ages. You know, Darky was ruling. In which, what do you think happened to all the black folks that was in Europe before they got there? There you go, right there. They done built it on top of our bones. How did America get here? Built off the top of our blood and bones. All right. Now, in which more than 800,000 ethnic Tutsis and moderate Hutus were killed by. See, this is another thing. Now you understand why Haiti don't want the United States to come over here, or will go to Haiti and help with nothing. All they doing is raising up people to go against the country of Haiti's best interest. They arming rebels. They creating chaos. So y'all just stay out. We don't need y'all. Where y'all at when we over here hungry, getting gentrified out our neighborhood? Where y'all at then, United States? But you're going to bypass all this death, hell, and destruction in the United States and go to Haiti because the black folks need help. No, y'all over there doing this right here, genocide.
In which more than 800,000 ethnic Tutsis and moderate Hutus were killed by Hutu extremists. In Rwanda, in the territory of Ntarama, a church has been immortalized because of the brutal slaughter that took place there during the Rwandan tragedy. This Catholic church, just like the autodafés of the past, has the victims, the Negroes.
Y'all ain't getting it. All them clothes.
A Negro's pet guardian labeled, particularly of Jews in Navarra. Just like the autodafé.
All those clothes used to belong to somebody. And they got the cross on top of it.
Days of the past has the victims, the Negroes, clothing hanging from the rafters as a memorial, and also an ossuary of the bones of the said victims.
All right, I'm gonna end it right there. I'm gonna stop. That's Reclaiming the Throne. It's on Tubi. You see it. This is episode 3. It got 3 episodes. All right, right there. It's also on that other streaming platform that I just showed the video. Look. I told y'all Satan has a seed. Mashiach said, you know, they are their father, the devil, and the desires of their father they want to do. He was a murderer. So their father is a murderer. Guess what? They are murderers. Satan is a liar. Guess what? They lie. They put lies in books. Let me get over here to my, I ain't even got into my photo album, y'all. Most High. Yeah, I put that in there for real, for real. I'm gonna have to keep it on here because I keep now we get into the photo album. All of it photo album. The images of the mistreatment of our people is seared in my conscience. The only way it's gonna get out when the Most High call me to die. And it ain't gonna lead in. That's the only time I'm gonna be able to sit still. I can't sit still. Can you sit still while somebody is torturing you? Huh? Who of y'all can sit still while somebody, especially if you ain't tied down, somebody sitting there just torturing you with knives and fire? Can you sit still? Well, neither can I. This is torture. All right? Now, y'all know you can get white from black. This is a scientific fact. But what you ain't going to get, not without messing in the lab, you ain't going to get black from white. They look like triplets to me. Or sisters. But yeah, see, if we wanted white folks dead, you never would have been here. This ain't our thinking. We don't go around trying to say, oh, my building supply is low. Let me go dig up some graves so I can build my church. We don't think like that. Oh, I'm sick. Let me go eat up some people for some healing. That's y'all. Okay, here go another example. This is what's going on. The anomaly is trying to run. It's trying to take over. They don't want to work with. They don't want to work with the indigenous. They want to take over because that's who they are. All right. Y'all remember this? What's this? Asher. The war for Israel. They left black. He said the Hebrews left Jerusalem black and come back white. When he was asked about peace in the Middle East, the late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated, the Jews will never be able to live here in peace because they left here black and came back white. And the Bible said when the real Israelites get in the land, there's going to be peace. This is the Bible. It said no one will make Jacob afraid. I'm not going to go back and forth because every time I do that, it seems like I mess up my pictures. Okay, now, all these scripts describing the Most High and his son. But somehow you get a European pictures. Look here. Revelation 2:3. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. Yep. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. So the one in heaven running the show, he running the devil too. I can show some of y'all some Bible verses to scare y'all. The Most High, the devil ain't got no power. You a fool. You a fool if you don't get in here and start reading and studying and your life start lining up with the book. You are a fool. The devil ain't running nothing. He ain't stopped nothing yet. What? Okay. What has the devil created? Why didn't he create his own kingdom? Huh? Why can't he get away from this? Why can't he get away from earth? Huh? Hey, there's enough about the devil. All right. And he that sat upon was looking like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. Okay. All these descriptive images of the Most High and his people in the Bible. But to the people that want us dead, that's dehumanized, trying to erase us, they keep on, this is what you're going to get. Okay? You ain't going, the only place you're going to find this in the Bible where it's talking about the beast, the false prophet. That's where you're going to find this in the Bible. The Antichrist. That's where you're going to find this in the Bible. Okay? Okay, y'all see it. Let me keep on going in the photo album. I remember, look at this. Look at this. I remember seeing Bible like this in church. It looked like a big old church window pane, don't it? But why that design? Look, why that design? Why that design? Look just like a slave ship crammed in there like sardines. Yep, phallus. Yep, it's also a phallus. Exactly. All right, let me keep going. I'm going to just sit there right there. I tell Negroes go sit down somewhere. And then them devils, I'm gonna check them with the word, and you can go sit down somewhere. You can't tell, you can't shame me, you can't tell me nothing. Nothing. Just because y'all got the television and you print the books and you got control of the media and stuff, you can propagate these lies. That's all right. If we got to tear y'all glass house down with a slingshot, it's gonna be David versus Goliath. All right. Y'all see what it is. Not guilty. Let me keep going. All right, Revelation 1, 14 and 15. And his head and hairs were white like wool. Now it was stringy like a goat. The image of this is hair like a goat. Where you at? Right here. Hair like a goat. The Bible said wool. Hair like a goat. All right. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if burned in a furnace. See, these folks don't deal in reality. That's how come you can build a church and think nothing about the people you just killed. You don't deal in reality. You can't. What kind of reality allows you to kill people and then build stuff out of their bones? What kind of reality is that? That don't bother you? And for your people to sit back and point the finger at us like we the most vilest people ever to be on the earth, to co-sign it, that says a lot. Jeremiah 17:4. Okay. And you even yourself shall discontinue from your heritage. When did the Ish people, how does this apply to them? They say they always known who they were. Okay. All right, let me see here. That's another thing. They always want to show you the European images of the people that they done killed. And then they assume the identity. Same thing. They got a history. They done assume the identity of the biblical Egyptians. Well, how do you explain the people that got over there now? Read your Bible. The Greek captivity. Ptolemy, one of Alexander the Greek's generals, was ruling over there in Egypt, a white man. They over there mixing. That's why the Most High told us to leave these other nations alone. Ain't nobody gonna be able to tell who you are. And number two, I made you how I wanted you to be. Now, if you was a pit bull, you got pit bull dogs. You selling pit bulls for a living. You wouldn't devalue your bloodline of your pit bull with another dog, would you? But we don't think nothing about it because the people that's trying to kill us and erase us have did the teaching. Now, I'm not now. You know, we all mix. What I am. The biggest of my blood come from Negro land. The what's that? Sudan. That's the biggest of my blood. A chunk come from right here. Okay. But yeah. So don't think I'm beating you up. All right. This is what they don't show. And then I heard some people I went to school with talking about the Native Americans didn't have a written language. Says who? Says the people that killed them? Says the people that build churches out of bones? Says the people that legalize lynching and still let it go on today? Say y'all? Let me see how this thing going on Rumble. Let me see how it going. If you over there in Rumble, shalom. Okay. These are facts. They own, insured, and financed and outfitted them with chains and shackles. Now, how you going to be the people that's supposed to be in captivity in the Bible and the one running the captivity? Or the one dominating it? Like I said, people need to read their Bibles. Don't take my word for it. Why you don't want to read? All right, look, hair like wool. For those of you who don't know, that's a sheep. Goat's hair is stringy. All right, all this stuff, all this in the photo album of the Bible, giving descriptive images. But to liars and people that live in a false reality, you know, that ain't how the people look. That ain't how the people look. The people look like this right here. That's how they look. No matter all the stuff written in the Bible, that's how they look. I'm telling you, what kind of reality? What kind of reality are these folks living in? All right. Okay, Revelation 4:3. And that's the same verse. He that sat up on the throne was to look like a jasper and sardine. Why you don't see these images? Now, you shouldn't be trying to make no image. My personal opinion, you shouldn't be trying to make no image of the Most High. Have you seen it? And the Messiah. Yeah, you know, that's my opinion. But we know doggone well he ain't no white man. We know he ain't no olive tone. What olive? Okay. If you're going to ride with that olive tone, which one is it? The black olive or the green olive? The green olive is Yoda. So you say your Messiah is Yoda and you trying to propagate a Jedi mind trick. Okay. Here goes some more biblical photo album. Why are so many black men in prison? Number one, we disobeyed the covenant. We disobeyed the Most High. Number two, you know, that's the only one you need to know. Number one, okay. Look, this is Jeremiah 42:20. Or is it Isaiah 42:22? This is a people robbed and plundered. Okay, here it is down at the bottom. All of them are snared in holes, and they are hidden in prison houses. The same people that this beast church and beast prophets and beast people and beast religion is building church, has built churches out of. Now you understand why the Klan say they are Christians. All right. Now the same people hiding us in prison houses, they have become a prey, and with no one to deliver, for a plunder no one shall restore. Isaiah 42:22. There's some more. Revelation 1:14. The head of his hairs was white like wool. Okay. That ain't wool and it ain't white. That show you people don't study the Bible. That show you people don't study the Bible. They don't really believe the Bible. If you believe the Bible, your actions going to reflect what you believe. So you are faithless. Like I said, if we didn't want white people here, we'd have started killing y'all as soon as you come out the womb. That ain't us. We don't think like that. We don't know where y'all come. Well, all I know, Satan has a seed. Satan has a seed. Okay, now in the book of Exodus, you can read Genesis chapter 10. It tells you that the Egyptians are black folks, descended from Ham. You can go right here in this Bible dictionary. It's going to tell you the same thing. You got Bible dictionaries telling you the Egyptians are black folks. But to the people that's living a false reality, the people that don't know what truth, that can't even live in truth. But yeah, so Joseph's brothers did not recognize him who sold him to the Ishmaelites, and the Ishmaelites sold him to Egypt. Okay, if the Hebrews was white, all Joseph's brothers do, all they would have recognized Joseph among the black Egyptians. Okay, Moses himself was mistaken for an Egyptian in the land of Midian when he ran from Pharaoh. Okay. Moses stuck his hand in his bosom, and the Most High turned it white. Now, if his hand is already white, then what's the miracle? Miriam, Numbers chapter 12. The Most High turned Miriam white. So if she's already white, why did the Most High turn her white? Let me keep going. So here you go, right here. There you go. There's just more ways you can get white from black. See, this is what happened to white people. They were born without this. And then some of us, like if I don't get no sun, my skin, it lightens up. That's just a fact. Black people know this. You know, like in the winter months, we lose pigmentation. Our skin gets a little lighter. Then on top of that, you can have albino children. Let me see some more albinos down here. Let me see. There go Miriam right there. Look, you can tell her hair is like it's woolly hair. That's woolly hair right there. Okay. Numbers 12:10. And behold, Miriam became leprous. She wasn't already white. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. But no, we're gonna give y'all, we're gonna ignore all that. Because we don't live in the truth no way. We just gonna go lying. We are gonna keep lying. We're gonna keep the lie going. Because we control everything. Around the 1500s. Around the 1500s. They changed the word from leprosy to vitiligo. Okay? Around the 1500s. They changed it from this word to vitiligo. All right? This is what, if you don't believe that leprosy, the yellow hair is leprosy, you got two forms of it, clean leprosy and unclean. Unclean leprosy, you had to be quarantined. Read your Bible. If you had unclean leprosy, you was quarantined. They put you away from everybody else to keep it from spread. But clean leprosy, you just white all over. Read your Bible. Make you wonder about these Bible cemetery schools. All right. If a man or woman have a plague upon his head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be a slight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scald, even a leprous upon the head or beard. See, these folks have been infiltrating and raping our minds for centuries. Okay? Why you want to look like the oppressor? I'm not going to beat you up. I'm going to leave it alone. I want you to ask yourself, why do I feel like the oppressor is beautiful? Why don't I feel like I am beautiful? No matter what state I'm in. Why don't I feel like the Most High made me beautiful? Why I got to change how I look? All right, let me keep going. The first slave ship to the Americas was named Jesus. These are facts. Moving right on. First ship over here. I think I already showed that one. All right. And laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. There you go, right there. That's why you can get you a Jehovah's Witness book, and you're gonna have images of the heathen portraying the biblical people. You can get you a Catholic Bible, it's gonna have images of the heathen portraying the biblical people. You can get you a Seventh-day Adventist, you're gonna have images of the heathen portraying the biblical people. You might as well have your Church of Satan Bible if that's all the respect you got for it. You might as well have your Church of Satan Bible, because if you go ignore all the truth and the facts that's in it, yeah, I will scatter them. Who's been scattered? The Bible said, the Most High said in His Word that He was going to scatter Israel. Okay. Deuteronomy 4:27. Y'all can look these verses up. I don't know what they say. Well, I ain't read them. But look, Ezekiel 22:15. I'm for sure these are verses of scattering. Nehemiah 1:8. Leviticus 26:33. In ships. Deuteronomy 28:68. Remember the instructions you gave your servant Moses, saying, if you are unfaithful, I will scatter you among the nations. See, this is dangerous to us when you got these so-called Catholic preachers talking about the law done away with. This is the law right here. That's it. Let me keep going. Here go your jingle bells right here. There go your jingle bells right there. There you go. Let them have their holidays. That picture ain't a good copy. I can't read it. Here goes some more Bible verses. Jeremiah 14:2, Lamentation 4:8. Look like Genesis 2:7. Job 30:30. Song of Solomon 1:5, I believe. All right. Them Bible verses only fit us. If it could fit the other community, they'd be harping on it. If these Bible verses could fit anybody else, they'd be harping on it. They'd be swallowing it whole. Bullet holes in them, chains. Yeah, the Most High fix this. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you time to think about it. I'm gonna put this Bible in close proximity. But you gonna sit back and got it, and you gonna mess around and look at it. It really ain't funny, but the Most High got a sense of humor. The Most High got a sense of humor. Now, look at this. Look at this. 14 books removed from the Bible in 1881. Notice, we just come out of slavery. They started erasing the books. We can't let your Negroes get a hold of your own book. You're going to start seeing some stuff. We're going to take out some books. We're going to take out some books. We're going to hide it. Apocrypha means hidden, secret. We're going to take some books out. My question to you, the Bible said Revelation, at the end, in the very back of Revelation, if you take anything out, your name is taken out the book of life. Okay, these books was in the original Bibles. They was in there. They was in the original Bibles. You put that in contrast with Revelation, the last chapter, when the Most High is talking about people going to hell for taking out of his Bible. They was in the original. They are historical. There are multiple copies of it that walk lockstep with history. There's books in here that walk lockstep with history. But yet, these churches that build churches off of our backs and bones and blood, taking out books. Okay? Ask yourself. No, slavery was so-called abolished in 1865. See, Negro was being able to start to read now. Master couldn't keep the lockdown on the books. So that one. Okay, here another one. Who else? If it ain't us, who else? Huh? I just want y'all to see this photo album. This is our photo album right here. Sit the children down. Sit the children down and show them in the Bible. Because if you're waiting on the heathen to show you your place in the Bible, we're going to be dead. All right? It's our job. If you can't sit there, at least put them in the direction of somebody that's going to be accountable and careful with the truth. Okay? All right? Look at here. Baruch. Okay? Baruch. You know, Baruch was writing parts of the book of Jeremiah. Why did Baruch write part of Jeremiah's book? Remember, Jeremiah was in prison. Jeremiah was shackled in prison. He was in a mud pit. Think about it. Think about being in a dungeon, in a pit. Every time you got to use the bathroom, you got to go right there where you stand. This is Jeremiah. Huh? So Jeremiah had Baruch write down stuff. Okay? Baruch wrote some stuff. He got his own book, but they took it out. I'm just showing you who Baruch is. Okay? Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. Why? But because ye moved Yah to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies. Okay? The Most High said, you want Satan? Okay, I'm gonna give you Satan. You want to do like the other nations that Satan is manipulating? I'm gonna give you to them. That's what you want? Here you go. After about 6 billion bones later, probably more. So now we starting to wake up and realize, wait a minute. I don't know how many, but you look at all them bones. They took pride in their work. These devils took, if you look at them churches, if y'all just not coming in, go back. You look at them churches, them devils took pride out of making bones and artwork out of our skeletons. These are your so-called Catholic churches built on death. All right, let me move on. Now, like as I said earlier in the video, your so-called European Ashkenazi, they cannot survive multiple captivities with their genetics intact. Genesis chapter 10 tell you the Egyptians are black. It also tell you that the Assyrians are Hebrews. Okay, all the Nebuchadnezzar was a Shemite. I'm just saying these black folks. Then it started turning white. Everybody on earth at the beginning was black. These are facts. Okay, but why don't you never hear nothing about that? Why you don't hear nothing about black folks in the Bible? Okay, how come you don't never hear a preacher? I ain't even heard a black preacher. Okay, here were black folks. Here's at least one black. Here's at least one spot in the Bible where black people was at. Why you don't never hear them say that? These white people don't. That's why they running around acting like they worried about their numbers now. They can't survive going into captivity. They go into captivity and suffer rape and murder. They gonna cease to exist. Moving on. That's why the Most High let the white folks take over. He got him there. He sent him there. When he get tired of him, he gonna move him out the way like he moved us out the way. And ain't nothing we can do about it. Daniel 7:9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head were like pure wool. But somehow that don't make the pitch. That don't make the text. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. I just throw that in there. Now, for those of you who wonder, should you be having relations on the Shabbat? The answer is no. What's the matter? You can't take a break from your spouse in respect for the Most High? I just throw that in there. You got to get it checked. All right? Here where you can find that. If the Most High our God, then certain things just stop for the Most High. I just put that in there. There you go, Jubilee 15:8. Go look it up. All right, now, Kumbaya. This here's the book. What book is that? That's the book of Enoch. Chapter 1, about 105. Noah was an albino. Let me see if they got it in here. It's the book of Enoch right here, though. And after some days, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech. That's Noah's father. And she became pregnant by him and bore a son, and his body was white as snow and red as the blooming of a rose. He was an albino, and the hair of his head and his long locks were white as wool. He had Negro hair. Well, he still technically he was a Negro. He just albino. And his eyes beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he lighted up the whole house like the sun, and the whole house was very bright. And thereupon he rose in the hands of the midwife and opened his mouth and conversed with Yahuwah of righteousness. And his father Lamech was afraid. Why was Lamech afraid of Noah? Noah was an albino. This is the book of Enoch, which Jude in the New Testament is quoting. This is the book of Enoch. Because the offspring between the angels that came from heaven and the black women were white children. That's what they look like, according to the script. Y'all don't find that suspicious that a whole bunch of white people is going all over the earth, stealing, killing, and destroying. Got everybody beat, hands down. No, I'm not saying all of them. But when you protect them people because you feel close to them, you get on over there with them. You want to protect the murderer, you're a murderer. You want to provide cover for the murderer, you're a cover. You're a murderer. Just stay over there with them. All right? And Lamech, his father, was afraid of him and fled and came to his father Methuselah. This is the book of Noah. It's the book of Enoch. I think about the 105th chapter. All right? And he said unto him, I have begotten a strange son, different from and unlike man, and resembling the sons of the angels of heaven. And his nature is different, and he is not like us. He's not like everybody else on earth. And his eyes are as the rays of the sun, and his countenance is glorious. And it seems to me that he is not sprung from me, but from the angels. And I fear that in his days, this is Noah. Let me go back. And I fear that in his days, a wonder might be wrought on the earth. The flood. That's what happened. Now here go a little humor for y'all. If I knock on the door, would you answer? Nope. His head and hair were white like wool. That's why they don't want you to know that Bible. That's why it was illegal for us to read. Okay? Revelation 1:14 again. And this is the slave ship Jesus. These are historical facts. What about these verses? How come y'all know about these verses? Their appearance is blacker than coal. Lamentation 4:8. How come they always overlook all these? See. Now these here's some things I put together. They've been years ago. Look, Deuteronomy 28:49. Yahuwah will bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth. Look, Israel is in the east. Where we at? We in the west. End of the earth. If that ain't far enough in for you, there you go. When you go far enough over here, you're going to end up in Russia. Alaska, Russia, back around. End of the earth. I want these pages to pop. I want them to talk to you. Don't let Yoda give you the headphones with his gospel. The Jedi lying trick. All right. As swift as the eagle fly. What's their motto? The darn eagle. Okay. As swift as the eagle, a nation whose language you will not understand. We had to learn English. We didn't come over here speaking English. Okay. If you don't believe the Bible, I don't know, ain't no hope for you. That's all I can tell you. A nation, this is the next verse. A nation of fierce countenance, which does not respect the elderly nor show favor to the old, to the young. There you go. And keep in mind, these churches, these devils done built with our bones. All right. 28:15. And it shall come to pass if you do not obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to observe carefully all his commandments, Mashiach the Messiah said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Now, how is you going to keep the commandments and you preaching the doctrine the law is done away with? But yet, the law of tithe was in the Old Testament. Y'all going to keep that and change it from food to money. I'm just showing you the contradictory. All right. And it says, which I command you today, that all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. And this is, you know, you can go all the way down to Deuteronomy 28. All right, look at here. Deuteronomy 28, 45, 46. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed. See, remember, the Most High promised Abraham that we was going to be numerous as the stars in heaven, as the sand of the sea. Okay, white people have trouble reproducing. You're not going to get a mass genocide of white people and still have plenty of them to go around. It's genetically, mathematically impossible. It's so many of us around today that they still having trouble wiping us out. You know why? Because the Most High ain't going to let y'all wipe us out. Because you did not obey the voice of Yahuwah to keep his commandments and his statutes which I commanded you. And look, these curses, you want to know who the Israelites are? For they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder, and on your descendants. Generational. This is the European mindset. I didn't agree to the covenant when in the wilderness with Moses. I didn't agree to it. That don't matter. The Bible, the Most High said, these curses gonna follow your children. I didn't agree to the Adam eating of the disobeying the Most High. But yet I'm suffering because of what Adam done. But yeah, here you go. See how many I got. Some of these are redundant. But family. There you go. When they say the people of the Bible or the Messiah was olive tone, just say which one, black or green. Huh? And after seeing this, I understand why that's all that flag is good for. That's all it's good for. You know what? That flag ain't even fitting. It ain't fitting to touch my behind. My boo-boo is better than that flag. But anyway, Exodus 1:10, come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply and it happen in the event of war, they also join our enemies and fight against us, and so get up out the land. I pledge allegiance to a flag that does not care for me. All right, family. These heathens is consistent. They are persistent. We got to maintain and be resistant. In case y'all was wondering, like y'all think the white-skinned Asians is a new race. Well, they is new. But look, there you go right there. Snatch that from you too. Red, white, and boo-boo. All right, fam, let me go back over here. I think I showed everything. Now, Zechariah 9:6, a mixed race shall settle in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. The people they call Palestinian are somewhat Philistine, but anyway, guess who's over there now? These people are a mixed race, okay? I just want y'all to see the Bible and believe it. If you don't believe it, then you crazy as all get out. Therefore, you shall serve your enemies, whom Yahweh will send against thee in hunger, thirst, nakedness. Think about gentrification. In need of everything, and he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. I want y'all to see the Bible and start believing. All right. You shall betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. You shall build a house, but you shall not dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, and it shall not gather its grapes. You ain't gonna benefit from planting. You ain't gonna benefit from planting the garden. You ain't gonna benefit from building houses. You ain't gonna benefit from trying to start a family. All right. Thy sons have fainted. Y'all want to know Negroes like me popping up everywhere? Now we still got to be in line with the word. We still got to be in line with the word, okay? But remember, the Most High said, "Be angry and sin not." But these Catholic preachers, these Negro preachers, try to teach you that being angry is a sin. But the Most High is angry. He's angry. That's why he's doing what he's doing to us and everybody else. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of our street. On the street corner, you find brothers, won't you? As a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of Yahuwah. Where did the fury, look, our people are full of the fury of Yahuwah. Where we get the fury from? Where did Judas Maccabee get the fury of the Most High from that they took out the book? Why is the Greek captivity missing out your Bible? You got the Babylonian captivity in your Bible. You got the Medes and the Persian captivity in the Bible and some more captivity. You know, you got Europe and Assyria. But I'm talking about these four beasts in the book of Daniel that's talking about prophecy. Okay, Babylon, Medes and Persian. The Greek captivity they erased out of your Bible. Daniel wrote about it, spoke about the Greek captivity, but they took it out your Bible. It's in here. The Jews, the Maccabees, they had the Most High's fury. They went in on them heathens. Then you go over to Matthew, you find the Roman captivity. All right, the rebuke of our Elohim. You got to be lined up with the word. If not, this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna be death. Not just like this, but it ain't gonna work well for you. Then you're probably gonna go to hell. Deuteronomy 28:26. Your carcasses shall be food for all the birds of the air and the beasts of the field of the earth, and no one shall frighten them away. If these heathens could take these Bible verses and apply them to themselves, they'd be harping on it. They'd be asking for more billions. Okay. Baruch for and so. I did that one earlier. I told you who Baruch was. All right. That's about it, fam. 138. Let me see, can I find some more stuff? Let me see, since I got a few minutes. Look right here. Look. You got people in Africa want these good white folks to return their dead ancestors. See, that's what I was looking for earlier. See, these folks is the same folks. They still keeping bones. They got a skull display. They got skulls of black folks in Europe now. We supposed to be trying to seek some kind of camaraderie with these devils. Man, we done lost our mind. No, let me type in human. Let me type in human. They going to dinosaurs. Let me narrow it down. You know, the Bible forbids us to be to even do stuff like this. Okay, but yeah, there goes some more of them bone churches. Where is people calling this stuff out? Okay, but anyway, let me see if is anything else in that notes. Hold on. Look right here. Look, they want to sell African skulls. See, these folks better not, they can't tell me nothing about our people. They need to sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. Is this a video? Let me see. Is this a video? Let me see. Nah, this is something else. This advertisement. All right. Look, here go a video.
Controversy in Belgium surrounding an auction of human skulls from the colonial era. The Van der Kinder House's announcement caused such a wave of criticism that the house bought them and intends to return them to the Democratic Republic of Congo.
On était dans la légalité, mais
we were within the law, but there is the human side which plays, and it is the reason why most of the people reacted on Twitter by saying, how can you sell human skulls?
Because they devils, that's how. That's their history. We done gave y'all the rundown. If y'all just come in here checking the video out, go to the beginning of the video. Gave y'all the rundown.
An unforgivable slip for the groups that denounce the abuses of the colonial era and have flooded social networks with criticism.
It is simply a scandalous sale. It is a sale of the skulls of victims of colonization. This auction is a bit like killing them a second time.
This contrasts with the current trend in Belgian politics.
They got it blurred out.
There are those who believe that the time has come to legislate on the issue.
we have entered an era.
I bet you, if you go over there in Germany and get some Jewish skulls and bones, boy, I ain't even got to say nothing. But since it's black folks, we within the confines of the law. We ain't broke no laws. Go over there and start building. Go over here and start building churches out of white folks' bones. Now, y'all do know the Bible prohibits, the Most High prohibits us from doing stuff like that with bones. I'm just saying, if somebody did that,
I would say almost a century of repentance. I think it's time for a legal framework.
How's it? Let me hold on. He's talking about a century of repentance. Y'all ain't repent means if I'm going this way, like I'm hell bent on killing niggas and making artwork out of their bone. Repent means I'm gonna stop being hell bent on killing Negroes and desecrating their bones. That's what repentance means. Y'all still doing the same thing. No, I don't know what reality these are devils.
We have entered an era, I would say almost a century of repentance. I think it's time for a legal framework to be put in place to deal with this whole issue.
Little is known about the history of these skulls beyond the annotations they carry. They are the remains of a dark colonial past that a century.
Oh, they got DNA. Like if I bust up in somebody's house, they're gonna find a hair strand, they're gonna find sweat, they're gonna find all kind of stuff. If they know where I was at, they're gonna get stuff off the bottom of my foot. They try to locate the dirt to get a geographical location of the dirt on the bottom of my shoe. If I walk up in somebody's White House and kill them, they're gonna find all kind of. They're gonna, I love watching them CSI shows. But they talking about they acting like they can't find, they don't know what happened. Oh, we just don't know. How y'all the doggone got the lie IQs and y'all don't know nothing?
Past that a century later Belgium tries to amend.
Okay. All right. Anyway, family. Let me see. I got another one over here. There's another one. Hold on. Furniture stuffed with human hair. What's this? My battery getting low. Look at this. Books bound in human skin. I've been had this in there for a while. Look. This is what y'all want to be equal to. The beacons of morality. They better not never come over here trying to tell me anything. Look at this. I was thinking about doing a video. That's why it's in my that's why it's in my notes. I still might. Human, look. They done made shoes out of human skin. Anyway, let me get off of here. I done showed y'all enough. Let me show, I done showed y'all enough. Shalom, family. These folks is crazy. But y'all, see, anyway, this is the reason why we shouldn't be taking no cues from them. Nothing. Nothing. No, I don't think they are. These folks is crazy, y'all. I ain't worried about them. I just know how to handle them when they come. I'm going to flash back all this history when they come. It don't matter. It don't matter if you're in the right or the wrong. They still hate you. That's why you got to be in the word. Okay? I'm more concerned about what the Most High going to do with me if they take me out. I'm not worried about them taking me out. I'm worried about what the Most High going to do with me after the fact. Did I represent him proper? That's what I'm worried about. I ain't worried about what they think. Not worried about making no friends. What sane person worries about befriending their enemies? What sane person thinks about trying to be a friend to a historical enemy? Negro, hey, I just want y'all to think about that, all right? Shalom, fam.
Questions about the relationship officers have with the people they are policing, especially white cops in...
What question she asked? Let me see, can I see it? Let me see, can I see it? Where your question at? I'm scrolling up. Okay. I agree with you. Israel is Negroes. I don't see no problem there. I mean, you know, we might have intermingled with some folks, but we still Negroes. I don't agree with that 12 tribe chart. That's why you don't see me with no count. I don't agree with it. Now, don't get me wrong. People ask me about that. They're my brothers. In other words, you're not going to do anything in front of me to my brothers and expect me to sit back and let you handle my brother because we don't agree on the chart. You're not going to do anything to my brothers. So I let people know. I said, they're my brothers. I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with that chart. No, all 12 tribes are Negro. Matter of fact, let me see can I find it. The first people on earth were black. And then you got all kind of biblical passages where Moses, Abraham, Hagar was an Egyptian. Okay. Moses, the Midianites, Shemites, them more black folks, all kind of history. That's why you don't see me in no count. You know, I don't agree with everything. But what I do agree with, that we are the people. And all of us are black folks. That is a agenda going on. Trying to finagle somebody else into our heritage. Where was these light-skinned white folks when we was getting killed, run out of Europe? When they building churches out of our bone? Where they at when we getting killed out here? I'm not talking about those who are, us that's getting the same treatment, but what these Europeans that's benefiting off of our heritage, getting billions of dollars, gotten weapons. Where was they at when we were doing all the bloodshed, all the dying? Where they at? I hope did I answer your question? I was finna do something, then I got off in my tirade. Okay, yeah. Hold on. I remember what I was finna do. I'm looking for, y'all know Scientific Adam. Y'all know Scientific Adam. They own scientists tell you Adam was a black man. Yeah. See, that's why you see all these commercials. What's wrong with commercials with black man and black woman, black family? What's wrong with that? Because remember, the Most High said the seed of the woman. He chose one bloodline from Adam. Okay, you can verify this when it traces the Messiah all the way back to Adam. Okay, the bloodline he chose was Shem, then the nation of Israel. Okay? They had a distinct look. Now, so what the Satan don't want his head busted, so what he gonna do? He gonna propagate race mixing. He gonna propagate lies. He gonna murder us off. It's the same spirit. If we can't kill y'all off, we gonna dilute y'all. So you become confused. I don't want to speak out on black issues because I'm scared my white wife and her family got something to say. They gonna feel some kind of way. Well, if they can't honor the truth, then the hell with them. That's what that is. If they love black folks so much, then why is they bringing immigrants over here, classifying them as white, and gentrifying and putting black folks out on the street? I suggest to you, while you can, it's kind of the cost of living kind of low down here right now. Why you can, if you can, if the Most High move you to. But don't just hop up and move and you ain't got no plan. But for the road, he go your scientific Adam.
Our ancient connections may not be obvious to this group. Our ancestors adapted to different climates, and as a result, humans are now among the most physically varied looking species on the planet. But looks can be deceiving.
We're basically identical at the genetic level. I mean, if you look at the average person's DNA sequence and compare the same region to another person they're unrelated to, you know, they're 99.9% identical.
All that? There. Look right here. This is great.
Light, dark, big, small, curly, straight, brown, blue. Minuscule genetic changes account for all of our differences. To track our ancient paths, though, scientists study DNA that stays very much the same. In men like George Dellis, it's a Y chromosome.
Hold it. Let's do one more.
It's been passed down the line from father to son over thousands of generations, and ultimately traces back to one man who lived in Africa around 60,000 years ago. Call him Scientific Adam. He wasn't the only guy alive back then, but only his Y chromosome survived through the ages, and every man alive today has a copy.
Push it in there.
For women like Nejla Demirci, the DNA comes from special cell structures called mitochondria, which both men and women carry, but only moms pass along. These trace back to one woman who also lived in Africa between 150 to 200,000 years ago. Call her Scientific Eve. She is the oldest root of our family tree. Africa is where the journey begins for everyone alive today.
Okay, the definition of Eve means mother of all living. All these other nations come from the black woman. Okay, when the angels came down and colonized the earth, notice I use the word colonize. Satan couldn't create no wives for the angels. Okay, they come down and took advantage of what the Most High created. Satan can't create nothing without the Most High saying so. I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't want to read the Bible, you're a fool. Okay, and it's some more thing. That's right. That's how you know some more stuff been going on. You got Neanderthal genes and stuff going on. Where did that come from? But all right, family, I'm finna go spend some time with my wife. All right, but I want y'all to say a lot on this.
Who taught you, please, who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself who taught you to hate being what God gave you.
Now, y'all do know Malcolm X's grandmother was raped by a white man. The Most High will use whomever he will. Okay? But let's just stick to the facts. The Hebrews are black folks. Deal with it. Okay? Shalom, family. We love y'all.
And all my troops, no time for a truce, there's only time for truth, no room for fair or regular cares, stand clear of civilian affairs. Hold up, soldier, salute, if you're going up, salute, throw it up, salute, throw it up, salute, soldier, salute, if you're going up, salute, throw it up, salute, throw it up, salute, on to the truth, me and all my troops.